Madurapperuma was educated at Royal College. And he did his first Masters in Computer Engineering from ISPJE in Havana, Cuba. And he went on to Wales. He is presently a senior lecturer in the Department of Computer Engineering at Open University. He has been dean of the IT faculty at Plenary. He has been senior lecturer in the University. And there are lots of other things I think we don't need to spend time explaining them. And his research interests in database systems, user interfaces, emotional computing, and distance learning.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm no longer the head. I give up that responsibility about another so. When first Anand talked to me and said the guy who was speech, asked him, what he was going to talk about. He said something relevant. So he gave me an open topic, and whenever I get that opportunity, I talk about developing manpower because that's my passion, So that's what I'm going to talk to you about. And part of my work was actually simplified. I don't know how many of you looked at the video that was playing a little while ago. Where it talks about robots, it talked about nanotechnology, it talked about quite a lot of things. And today, we live in a very exciting world. The times are exciting, and I would even call it magical, because one of my favorite books that I read is this Harry Potter series, because it's fascinating how things have been put there. I don't know how many of you have watched the Harry Potter series, the films. It kind of, when it came out, they were like magic, the flying cars, and all sort of things, streaming soaps when they are dirty, and all sort of funny things. But what is happening now is that these things have become reality. The flying cars are there. I mean, there are a lot of new things. You go, you can go. Even in Sri Lanka, they are selling this programmable robotic vacuum cleaners. They are the video it showed, how you can actually connect your contact lens to a smartphone, so it communicates and reads what you are looking at. This thing is the Samsung demonstrated this TikTok, where you wear a small gadget and your phone, your speaker will become your finger. You get a call and you put your finger in your ear and you will hear what is happening. And on the other side, the nanotechnology. They showed about nanotechnology. Virtual reality is catching up very fast and developing very fast. And in the lab that I worked in Singapore a couple of years back, we were looking at how we can use all our sensors for communication. And we were doing research. We realized, okay, you can have voice, you can have video, but what about our other sensors? The things that we smell, the things that we taste, the feeling of touch. And we were doing research on that, and this digital lollipop came out of that research. where you can actually digitize a text and reproduce it in your tongue, so you can actually taste anything. If you can digitize it, you can taste it. And we realize that it will have a lot of applications. These small children, it is very difficult to, I have a small child and very difficult to get him to eat vegetables. Whenever there's something green, no. So what if it tastes like chocolate or sweet, the beans and broccoli taste like chocolate and ice cream. Or transmitting a smell, okay, I saw this flower and it smells this one, I'm sending it to you, you just smell it. Oh, I'm eating this nice food here. Here's the taste that I'm getting, you transmit and somebody else can taste it. Then there are a lot of other things that are happening, the 3D printing. The other day I saw something that you can actually print your burger. You go and you order a burger and it'll print it for you. Food printing, and they are printing human body parts. They are printing they are printing bones. Right? And in the future, I know what else they will think of, what will happen. So as I said, the future is like magic. It's exciting, it's beautiful, and it's also scary. Why is it scary? We don't know whether we are ready for this technology. Things are happening. Are we ready for this? About 3 or 4 months back, there was this story. The Google made an automatic car, driverless car. A driverless car. And they got approval to test run it on the roads. Run it on the roads. They were doing it. It worked very well. There were no problems. It worked very well. But whether we, as a society, whether we are ready for that. Because one day there was a news article that a policeman stopped the Google car. And it stopped the Google car, driverless car, because it was traveling too slow on a fast lane, because it was careful. And one thing is that it actually stopped. When the policeman asked it to stop, it stopped. But then there's a problem. The policeman has to give a ticket to somebody. To whom are you going to give the ticket? To Google? To the car or people who are traveling there? They say, I am not trying it. So whether we will be ready, that's the scary part. That's what I want to talk about. And when you talk about, there's a global think tank called World Economic Forum. It started as a small thing, but now it has grown to such a level. Every year they have this gathering of all the world leaders to look at, how the world is moving towards. All the big names are there. And the guy who organized it, Klaus Schwab, he says now we are in the 4th industrial revolution. The first is where we use water and steam to mechanize the production. Then we use the same for electrical power, for mass production. Then the third one, we use electronics and IT to automate the production. Right? Now he is calling this the 4th industrial revolution. What is happening now? I mean, the things that we have seen, the videos that were played, all points to one thing, which is we are fusing, bringing together the physical, the digital and biological. It's happening all around us. It's happening with us. It's happening more and more. It's going to happen. And why they call it a revolution? There is a saying, I mean, the technology, some people call it evolution, but it's called a revolution because it's the sudden change, the suddenness of change, you know. The velocity at which this technology is changing. Professor talked about agent technology. 10 years, 20 years ago, nobody would have heard about agent technology. Oh, it was just a research. Now it is being applied to control satellites, you know, to talk about swarms of satellites, swarms of drones, and it is used in practice. That is very rapid development, you know, very quick change, the velocity and the scope, how it affects everything, then the impact of these changes in the systems. That is why it's called a revolution, and it has a massive power of disruption. It changes everything, how we see things, how we work things. Professor talked about, you know, how the distribution systems or logistic management can be handled through these changes. And it's a lot of changes, and what this needs is a complete transformation of our production systems, our management systems, our governance systems. Everything has to adapt to this. So these technologies are connecting. They are connecting people, they are connecting things, and they have massive processing power. I can still remember when we started programming, it was there was a processor called Z80, and it was I think it was 16 kilobytes of memory, and where every bit counted. You have to be careful about not wasting a single byte. But now today, you know, my cell phone has more power than the mainframe computer that I use to learn my programming, and more storage. And the other thing that's happening is the quick access to knowledge. Today, anybody, you don't know anything, hey, just Google it. So much so that we created a new word called Google. You know, just Google it. Google it. Why don't you Google it? You know? It's not even search, it's Googling. And I can remember when I was in Singapore, I met a very old Japanese professor, and he asked, Ajit, what's your religion? I said, I'm a Buddhist. Though I don't practice that much, I'm a Buddhist. Then he said, I think this technology is making us getting closer to becoming arahat, the enlightened one. I said, why are you saying that, Professor? He said, Lord Buddha, he used to look at everybody's emotions in the morning. I can do with Facebook, I can see what people are doing, what they are eating, how they are feeling, I can do it in the same Facebook. And Lord Buddha and Aras, they knew everything. Today I am almost at that stage, I go and I Google and I can tell you about anything. I didn't have an answer, but what it does is, we have quick access to knowledge, and this will be move further, enhanced by all this technology that we are seeing. We have AI, robotics, the IoT, the Internet of Things, and 3D printing. All these things will only complicate or enhance more this thing. So now I come to my problem. My problem is, are we ready? Or are we getting ready? Very recently, the Google India CEO was in Sri Lanka, and he asked a very pertinent question. You know why are the universities in Sri Lanka not teaching data science, data analytics, and IoT? For example, he specifically mentioned University of Morocco. He said that University of Morocco is producing global level graduates. Why is not increasing? And it's very relevant because the predictions, the global predictions, is by 2020 we are going to lose about 5 million traditional jobs. Some of the things that we are doing are going to change. just imagine, you know, the automatic vehicles, driverless cars. If it comes, I don't know whether you know that the second largest employment category in Sri Lanka are three-wheel drivers. If we automate three-wheelers, that they don't need drivers, you know, I just want this thing, I go to something like Pick Me or Uber and I just order three-wheeler and the closest three-wheeler will come to where I am. If that happens, what is going to happen to that 1 million people? That is 1/20th of our population, and that 1 million people probably is supporting probably another 4-5 million. Are we ready to embrace that change? Hopefully it doesn't happen in, I don't know, I mean, like the way things are going, you know, it might even happen in our lifetime. You know? Now driverless cars are happening. So 5 million jobs are not going to be there. But they predict that there are about 2.1 million will be created. And this is in the US, right? Other people have not done this research. So we have a challenge. We need to prepare our workforce. And we are looking at it, you know, as a country we are looking at it. There's an organization called Human Resource Development Council. We are trying to look at, you know, what do we need to do to address this. And you are in computing, right? I assume that all of you will have something to do with computing, whether it's IT, computer science, computer engineering, something. Our industry is currently at about 800 million US dollar turnover with about 80,000 people. And the target is 5 billion by 2020. And annually, Sri Lanka produces about 8,000 graduates. There's a problem in this equation, you know. It's not going to work out. 80,000 people by 2020, you know, to make it fivefold, okay, we won't need 5 times the graduates, but we will need at least 2 or 3 times the graduates that we have. Right? So taking 8,000 to 16,000, 20,000 is not going to be easy. And there are a lot of new developments happening. There's megapolis coming in. With the megapolis comes, you know, smart cities. The current government has a plan for digitizing the economy. Everything to be digital. You will have your digital cards, your digital transactions. Everything will be digital. And a lot of citizen services will be digital, as well as quite a lot of new developments will also bring in a lot of digital requirements. And as a country, we need to look at this. And as students, I think you have to be aware. Because if you are trying to be, if you are learning something where your job does not exist in 3 years or 4 years, you'll be in trouble. You don't want to be there. Of course, these jobs will not go away, you know, from one day to another, but you will need to move on. So you need to be aware. As students, you need to be aware. As academics, we need to be aware what's happening. So we are ready. I think in Sri Lanka we face quite a lot of opportunities that we could have capitalized on. So data science is one thing, you know, and there are estimates that about around 4 to 5 million new vacancies will come by 2020 for data scientists, and it's the same situation everywhere. So we need to think about data science. The other thing is Internet of Things. I'm sure that you have heard about it. Everything will be connected to the internet, and you need to be aware, because we will need to manage that. Just like we are managing our light bulbs now, so tomorrow it will be your chair, everything that is connected. And the virtual reality and artificial intelligence. I know Ashoka must have talked a lot about artificial intelligence. These things are happening, and there are a lot of other areas that are interesting as well. And this is again a world survey that says which jobs will be gone and which jobs are catching up. And the skills that you need, it's changing as well. The skills that you think is important today, in 2020, some of them are important in 2020 as well, but some new things are coming up. So I want to just summarize. We need to think about developing human capital, and that as educators we have a role to play. As people who are preparing for the future, you have a role to play, because you need to be ready for this, and that only be done by working together. And the government need to go on infrastructure development, and it has to bring in facilities for research and development. We are discussing the government how they can bring the infrastructure as a PPP model, and we need our workforce to be innovative and entrepreneurial. There's no doubt about that. Those are keywords. And this cannot be done as isolated entities. I want to emphasize this, because tomorrow or next year or the year after, you will be entering the workforce. And we will be here, as academics, we will be training. We need to seriously look at these gaps. We need the government to come in with the policy and facilities. We need academics to change the way that we are working. But there was a time that when you are academic, you just pass the knowledge that you have acquired. Now the knowledge is freely available. So academics' role has to change, and it has to change with the world and look at what the world needs. And we need to bring in the industry. Look at what do they need now, what will they need in the future, and the society, so that we can work together. So my message to those academics is, I was having a chat with one of your lecturers, and the thing about this thinking inside the box came in. We can't keep on thinking inside the box. However much we know about that topic, it's changing. What we know today is changing. He explained, how agent technology is changing the way we work, we live, and similarly, everything else that we knew is changing. The programming is changing, the databases are changing, networks are changing, artificial intelligence is changing. Everything that we know is changing, and we need to be aware of that and take that into account and be able to predict. That's where the industry will come in. So, be proactive. That's my message. Be proactive, be aware of what's happening, and get ready, because otherwise you will not have a place in the future. For us, it's okay, because 5-6 years, we will retire and then we'll be happy, You don't need to learn that much, but you don't have that luxury, because the world is changing. And thank you very much. Sorry, I took